Always good to chat with Wayne Larrivee. He joins us now as we start hour number 3. I am looking at the Fox broadcast teams for next year, Wayne. A lot of changes. Good morning, by the way. How you doing? How's your back doing?
It's coming along. Yeah, coming along. It's getting there.
Doesn't sound great, Butchie. It's like poor Wayne is still suffering a bit, and I feel terrible for him.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts do suck.
Progress is not linear, guys. We talk about that all the time in sports.
That's a very good point. It's up and down and up and down. All right, but here's the deal. With Tom Brady on board, Fox NFL will have nearly all new teams, writes Andrew Marchand. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady, your A team. Joe Davis, Greg Olson, your B team. Adam Amin, Mark Sanchez, your C team. Kenny Albert, John Vilma, Kevin Kugler, Daryl Johnston, and Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth. A couple of those are still there. Robert Smith apparently is out. Talk to me, Wayne, from a standpoint of, and thank God your team is still intact. You, Rock, and Kuhn, and all of our coverage for the Packers is going to be the same again this year. But when you're dealing with a new partner, how is that dance when it comes to calling sports?
Well, it's interesting because sometimes it clicks right away, and a lot of times it doesn't. And it does take time. I think time you spend off air with a person has as much to do with developing chemistry on the air as anything else. Now, again, some broadcast teams, some broadcast partners have been wonderful, and they never spend any time together on the off the air. But I think it really helps if you do. But it takes time. It takes at least a full season before then and that the other guy can anticipate when the play-by-play guy is done with his thought or his description, that kind of thing. It takes time to develop that.
Do you think Brady's going to be good? That's just cut to the chase.
I question that. I suppose if he's Tom Brady, who was the Tom Brady at press conferences during his years with the Patriots, no, I don't think he'll be any good at all. But if he's the Tom Brady we've seen in recent years, away from the Patriot way, so to speak, I think he's got a chance to be good. But just because you were a good player doesn't make you a good analyst. Bart Starr was a great player, but he was not much as an analyst and didn't spend much time doing it either as a result. So it's amazing to me that the guys we think naturally that would be really good really aren't for the most part.
Yeah, the same thing for Joe Montana. He briefly did it and was terrible. Breeze would be another example, although Joe Buck thinks he got a raw deal there. So, yeah, be interesting. Also, Bill Belichick, Butchie, did you see this is going to be on Inside the NFL, which is now moving to the CW as a show, longtime Showtime show. And they had a clip of him in, I guess, one of their summer demos looking pretty interesting. Do you guys think Belichick is going to be interesting to listen to? Because he's going to be on a variety of places on television this fall.
I thought he was really good on the draft, guys. Belichick was honest. He was forthright. He made statements. I mean, he gave his opinion. And so much of the time, these guys try, a lot of times, especially ex-players and coaches who are just removed from the business for less than a year or so, are very cautious about how they analyze a player or game because they're so wired into, okay, well, what will my friend so-and-so think about me if I criticize how he ran that route or something like that? That happens. The other flip side of that is, the plays, what's coming up. Tony Romo was a great analyst his first 2 years out of the league because he knew what was going on. He knew everybody's playbook. He knew how, he could anticipate calls. The farther he got away from the game, the harder it was to do that. So it's a two-edged sword. There's no guarantees, though, in our business that somebody's going to translate on air as they might have in a post-game interview or on the field.
Wayne, I think that's the interesting thing about it is the chemistry. With this Packers team, that's the question mark that's out there right now with Josh Jacobs is what's the chemistry going to be with him and how he's going to perform. He came out yesterday and said one of the biggest reasons was he was sick of losing. That's why he left the Raiders. How big of a destination is the Green Bay Packers to free agents because of the success that they've had for so long?
I think that's certainly an attractive aspect of it. There's no question in my mind about that. I think the quarterback and the potential to win year in, year out, that's something that is starting to attract people to Green Bay a little bit. Jacobs is a guy, you mentioned chemistry at the start of your question. Jacobs is a guy the Raiders did not want to lose. Antonio Pierce, the head coach, felt he was the heart of that offense. Devontae Adams felt very much the same way about this kid. Who you bring into your organization, the chemistry they bring has a dramatic impact on how the locker room works. And I think the Packers made a good choice, it appears, from what I understand, on Jacobs. Now, how will it work? How will everything go together? That remains to be seen.
Did you see the nugget of Rodgers at the celebrity golf tournament out in Lake Tahoe yesterday talking about Davante Adams? And would you like to hear it, Wayne?
No, I didn't see it, but I'd love
All
to
right,
hear
here's what he said. Take a listen.
What's up? You think Luke Getsy's going to utilize Davante Adams good in the new Raiders offense?
I love Luke Getsy. He's a fantastic coach.
Awesome.
And I love Davante. Can't wait to play with him again.
Great. Love to hear it.
Yeah.
How's your game today? How you hitting him?
Good. Harrison's playing really well.
Is he?
He's a little shy, but just trying to get him out of his shell.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going good.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, don't care about the golf. Let's go back to this one more time. Ready?
New Raiders offense?
I love Luke Getsy. He's a fantastic coach.
Awesome.
And I love Davante. Can't wait to play with him again.
Great.
Was he talking about playing with Davante on the golf course or the football field?
It's a beautiful mystery, Wayne, as they like to say.
A beautiful mystery.
I mean, it was not in the context. He's asking about a football coach, the guy who interviewed him. This is courtesy of Vegas Sports Today, the clip. So obviously he's asking football questions. He says, I can't wait to play with, Davante, and then paused and then said again. There have been rumors of he's going to push to get a trade with Davante searingly unhappy, stranded in Vegas with all his money in his big Vegas house. He doesn't want to end his career on a perennial loser. Rodgers needs somebody. Well, I don't know if he needs somebody. They got some talent, some receiving talent there, but it wouldn't hurt to have Davante.
Yeah, and there's even been hasn't Davante kind of considered the Packers situation and looked at it rather forlong?
Right.
Boy, they've got a nice situation there now with Josh Jacobs going there, and Jordan Love looks like the real deal, and et cetera, et cetera. So, I think a lot of this is just outside conjecture. Knowing Davante a little bit, I'm sure he understands the ramifications of the decision he made, and maybe it's not going the way he had hoped it would go, but I'm sure he's still privately confident in his decision.
Yeah. All right. So next week, rookies and quarterbacks report, and the cycle spins up. The gears of the NFL war machine start swinging into motion. What does Wayne Larrivee do at the very start of this long march to the end of January?
Well, I've got my stuff done. I'm ready to go. And, my whole plan is to get to camp. And by the time I get to camp, I know everybody on the roster by number, by sight. And, that's kind of where I'm at right now. First 3 days of camp when they hit the field, starting Monday, Monday, the 22nd, I believe it is, they'll be in shorts, helmets, T-shirts, or jerseys, I should say. And that'll be for 3 days, that ramp up period. And then training camp really begins the first day you put pads on. That's when it really starts. And that's the one you want to be at.
Okay. Camp battles to watch, in your opinion?
Offensive line has a couple. The offensive line is probably, in my opinion, the most intriguing of the position battles and that type of thing. The makeup of the offensive line. I mean, who emerges as the right guard? Will it be Sean Ryan? Will they keep Zach Tom at right tackle? What will they do at left tackle? Is Jordan Morgan ready to play? And from what I saw in the OTAs and minicamp, they're working Jordan Morgan at a couple of different places. The first-round draft choice is a rookie, may not be ready to start at any position. We'll find out as camp ensues. A lot going on. what
Internet's breaking up. Hold on a second. Let's let this bad little patch pass.
Recalibrating.
Right. As I think about it, obviously, the Hafley defense, how is it looking so far? Including, some of these rookies as well as the McKinney acquisition at safety. Will a true number one wide receiver emerge in camp? Do we need one? Who is it? How will Jacobs be used as a back? How can we discern what they have in store for him? The special teams questions are, how's Keyshawn Nixon with the new kicking rules, the new kickoff rules, and the new USFL, or what is it, the XFL kickoff?
XFL.
And then, of course, other hand in the fire. The hand that was not singed off last year in the fire. My last good hand that I have for Carlson. Wayne, any other storylines to think of?
No, I think you've got it pretty well covered. It's going to be an interesting camp. And what's going to be interesting to me, you mentioned the defense. Those rookies they drafted were not in the starting lineup for the most part during the OTAs and minicamp. How long will it be in training camp before they start making moves on that side of the football? I think that's going to be fascinating to watch.
And I think you missed one, Czabe, and it's expectations, because now the expectations are for this team to win. And how does this team handle the expectations? Last year, they didn't have any. This year, going into the camp, there's expectations of Super Bowl. Now, is that fair? I'm
going to run a pool to see. I'm going to run a pool to see what player utters the two words Super Bowl together for the first and only time. Or not only time, but does anyone talk Super Bowl openly in front of a microphone this August up there?
I'm sure somebody will. Some player will. But, we talk about the expectations, guys, and naturally we think of our expectations, the media, the fans, everybody expecting a much different performance from this club and expecting this club to take off from where they finished last year and just, rise straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But understand, the
progress
only expectations that matter are those inside the locker room. And those young guys have a much different expectation for their season this year than they did a year ago at this time.
Yeah. Progress is not linear. We know that. But I do want them.
Somebody said that earlier. Is there an echo in here?
Very smart man who's on that road to full recovery, back to skiing the double black diamonds in Vail this winter.
Oh, God.
In Larrivee. Was single black diamond?
Maybe, if they're groomed.
Blue square. Blue square. All right. Wayne, as always, a pleasure, my friend. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Sounds great, guys. Take care.